Hey guys, it's Robin and welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be covering a bit of an older case. I've noticed that with new revolutions with DNA evidence, a lot of these older cases are being solved. Cases from decades ago, like maybe 40 years ago. And so I'm very interested in that, and I think it's awesome. They're able to take the DNA evidence and solve these cases. And after so many decades and so many years, even like family members, moms, dads are dead, they never got to find out what actually happened to their child. DNA evidence is ending that pretty much. Like 23andMe is doing their thing. There have been lots of people, they do 23andMe and maybe it's not even like the serial killer, but it might be a relative of theirs, and they're able to connect the DNA that way. Honestly, it's like really interesting to me, something that I'm really like looking into. For instance, I recently read a case about a girl named Pamela Milam, and her case was solved with DNA evidence. I'm not going to go too far into it, and I'll link everything down below, but I thought it was really interesting because it's such an old case. It's like crazy how they solved it. But yeah, I'll link the story down below. Today we're going to be talking about the disappearance and the murder of Jennifer Renee Odom. Jennifer was born on 8/25/1980. She lived in a small rural community of St. Joseph, a community that's located in Pasco County, Florida, which is an area I'm very familiar with. She lived in this area with her mother, father, and her younger sister, and they lived on a sprawling 15 acres of land. Like most small towns and small communities, everyone was very close-knit. There were really no secrets in this town. Everyone knew each other. Everyone knew everything about each other, and so it was just your normal small town. As for Jennifer, she was your normal preteen. She had a group of girlfriends that she would prepare for normal preteen things like middle school dances. She had a dog named Gypsy that she absolutely loved and absolutely adored. She played the clarinet in her middle school band. And I mean, this girl, not only that, but she just had an abundance of skills and hobbies. Jennifer was an honor roll student. She was an active water skier, and she even dabbled in archery. Overall, she was just an amazingly talented kid that lived in a really small town in a great community. But unfortunately, that community would be rocked with some shocking news on Friday, February 19th of 1993. That Friday, it was a crisp morning. Jennifer was wearing a white turtleneck, white jeans, a white Hooters zip-up hoodie, and she had a red sweater over that. She was also wearing black lace-up boots. Jennifer's mom drove her the 200 yards to her bus stop, and this was like a daily ritual that they participated in just so they could talk to each other before school had started, before their days had started really. When the bus arrived, Jennifer got out of the car and made her way to her usual seat in the back of the bus. This was something Jennifer did so she could see her mom as the bus took off. And just as normal, Jennifer went to the back of the bus and waved to her mom goodbye. Jennifer was in school that entire day, and she even made it back on the bus to go home. It was around 3 p.m. that she had gotten off the bus and waved goodbye to her friends. That would be the last time Jennifer was seen alive. For Jennifer, she would never make the 200-yard walk home. It was around 4 p.m. that Jessica, Jennifer's younger sister, made her way back home. When she arrived at home, the house was locked and empty. This was very unusual because, like clockwork, Jennifer would always come home around 3 p.m., open up the house so, Jessica could get in, and that was just their normal routine. So, of course, Jessica starts to panic because something is clearly wrong. Immediately, she calls her mom. Her mom is immediately worried as well because this is sending off all the wrong warning signs in her head. She immediately calls Jennifer's best friend, Michelle. All that Michelle was able to tell was that she had seen Jennifer get off the bus. At that point, Jennifer's mother knew something was wrong and that something bad had happened to Jennifer. It was immediately made clear that Jennifer had been abducted. Like, there was no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Like, she followed a routine, and the family in its entirety, they followed this routine to the T. And so the fact that she just wasn't there, she didn't show up, and her age, she was so young, a preteen, that really like sent off warning bells, and so that immediately started the search for her. Some children on the bus actually reported that they had seen a faded blue pickup truck slowly following Jennifer as she had gotten off. The driver of the pickup truck was identified as being a white male, possibly in his mid-40s, and with shoulder-length brown hair. Law enforcement, police dogs, and hundreds of volunteers scoured around 60 square miles of groves, pastures, and open land in the small town. It was on Thursday, February 25th of 1993, that a man and a woman stumbled upon Jennifer's body. They had been searching in an abandoned orange grove in Hernando County. And here you can see like the distance in between those two places. As for Jennifer, the way she was discovered was pretty horrific. She was naked, face down, and wearing nothing but her jewelry. Her clothing was never found, and it was revealed shortly after that she had been killed by a blow to the head. Now fast forward 2 years later, on January 5th, 1995. There's a couple hunting for scrap metal in rural areas of Hernando County. They end up discovering Jennifer's missing book bag and clarinet case. These items were found in heavy brush about 12 miles away from where Jennifer's body was. The way that they knew that this was Jennifer's case is because on the inside of it was Jennifer's name. Fingerprints were on the case, but there has yet to be a match made. In 1998, years after her abduction, police decided to search in a lake near where the book bag was found. There was no information given out to why detectives did this, but the detectives actually, after looking in that lake, ended up going to a mobile home in Orlando. This did not further the case at all, nor was it explained, but I just find that very curious that that kind of led them to that point, and I really want to know why, but there was nothing that ever really came of it. It's just known that for some reason, something that they found in that lake led them to that mobile home in Orlando. There have been many suspects, thousands of tips, and several investigations involved with this case. The truck and its driver has never been located. And so I know what you're wondering. You're like, Robin, I thought you were talking all about, oh, DNA this, like solved cases, blah, blah, blah. Well, wait a minute. I'm gonna read this from my notes because I wanna make sure everything's really clear and really correct. Around June of 2018, Hernando County Detective George Lloydrin, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he believes that DNA can help him solve this case. Any of her things that were found years after her murder did have possible DNA evidence on it. This is like a huge deal because this case has gone on for decades, and not only did it affect her family, but it affected communities, like several communities, like Pasco to Hernando, and such small communities exist in those areas that had to really put the communities on high alert. And so the fact that everyone was so close-knit and that this person was just never found, the fact that he thinks that the DNA evidence that they have can possibly lead them to finding out who killed this girl is awesome. And this is really, really recent news, like just from last year, so this is still really being looked into. So I'm going to actually put a link down below, and you can send in tips, hints. Really, no one send any like joke things. This is very serious. I would only send in any information if you actually have some real information that hasn't been released. You know, this is for people who possibly like are in the area, maybe were alive around the time, and have maybe possibly been looking up more information on this case because they remember this, they remember what happened to this poor little girl and her family. They want to, you know, help because they might have some extra, you know, ideas of who could have done this. I don't know, but that link down below is for that only. I would not even test it with a police office to send anything jokingly, because that's like a really big deal. So I'm gonna still leave the link down below, and hopefully if this video gets out there and someone sees it and knows something, they will say something. But yeah, clearly this case is really close to my heart. I clearly know the area, and it just it kills me that it's been so long and there's evidence and nothing has been found out yet. I just really want to bring awareness to this case because I really feel that it's really close to being solved, and I want it to be solved. And again, I mean no harm to any family, friends, people who really remember this case. Like, I mean no harm. I just really want to educate the public about this case and get the word out there, especially with DNA evidence being so huge right now and so many huge cases that are being solved and cracked. I really want to get this case out there and just put more eyes on it, because someone has to know something. At the end of the day, I feel like with any case, someone has to know something, and either they've taken the secret to the grave or they're just still not saying anything. So yeah, as I said before, I'm gonna leave the link down below, and if you or anyone you know has any information on this case, you know, do your thing, hit that link. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I love you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.